Good evening and welcome to Minneapolis by Night. Tonight we are joining the guru McKenna, who is gaining assistance from the mage Tursus to attempt an excursion to the Umbral realm known as Valhalla. After some investigation and a little bit of lore gathering, she's determined that for one reason or another, the spirits want her to seek something there, and as Tursus is a shaman familiar with those realms, he will be aiding her. The meet tonight, Tursus with picking McKenna up with his fairly traditional shamanistic garb, and he's got a long spear with sort of a leaf-shaped blade on his in the back of his truck, as well as a couple of knives and a pair of swords.
All right. So how exactly are we going to make this happen?
Well, I can get us in. That's not the toughest part. Getting out again, that's a trick.
I gathered that much from Ingram and Marcus Steele, but how are we getting in?
Well, we've got a couple options. We can travel the Umbra to get there. It's a convoluted path, but I know the way. Or I can call some Valkyries and demand they take us there.
Does demanding that sort of thing really work?
If you know how to compel them, it does.
I have to assume it's probably going to work a lot quicker that way than going through the Umbra. I mean, though if you know the way in the Umbra, it's better than getting lost in there.
As I say, I know the way, but it can be a long journey, and we'll already have to make it to get back out because Valkyries don't bring people back.
So we may as well try to take the shorter way in and the slower way out.
Very well, and there's a pond we will use, commonly frequented by swans, which are as well to the Valkyries.
Okay.
He drives to the pond. There are a number of swans there, probably sleeping there for the evening. He heads out to the edge of the pond
McKenna will follow.
And when he gets out there, he says, "Now comes the part they never like."
Spawns like things.
He draws out a dagger and plunges it into his chest. And as he's bleeding from it, he takes a pouch of herbs and begins to eat it. As he does, the swans turn into warrior women.
This partially explains why they're so ferocious.
He as they approach, he pulls the dagger out. And with a gesture, encases their wings in ice. I'm assuming McKenna does not know Old Norse language.
No.
Okay. So he says something, and you're not quite sure what.
Wait, actually, let me see something. She does have a gift. And I'm pretty sure. Let's see. I just have to. It works. I just memorize all these gifts, but. I can speak or understand any human language she encounters.
Okay.
You just have to roll intelligence and academics at 7. Fools wants to cooperate. Fine. At 4, holy balls. All right, cooperated.
All right, so you hear that he's actually, he's literally demanding that they take the two of you to Valhalla. And he says that he has earned his place there in ages past and retains his right to entry. And that, in addition, he will bring them worthy souls later as well. And then the ice begins to melt, and from their wings, and both of them approach and take each of you by the hand.
Okay.
And they kind of wade into the water partway, and then basically it's like what you assume would it feels like for someone else to step sideways with you. It's a real similar experience.
Okay.
But they literally take you through through the gauntlet. And it's basically you lose focus. You can't see, but it just looks like a kaleidoscope, like a rainbow, before you arrive at a large longhouse. And there's a main entrance, large building, traditional Norse construction.
McKenna just kind of takes it in for a second. Just gonna add to this the cool shit I've seen list.
One would think it would qualify.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of gestures to the door and he says, "Well, ladies first."
All right. She'll go for it.
All right. So you're going to walk in?
Mm-hmm.
I will need a Dex Athletics then.
All right. Jesus Christ, of course. 1.
All right. Well, you just barely are able to dodge as a hatchet buries itself into the door next to you.
Where did that come from? I'm looking around for the source of that.
There's a number of people who appear to be drinking and throwing at a large target, like a end face from a large log, but they've hung it next to
Which happens to be... Okay. Oh. Great place for target practice. I'm just going to stay away from that while they're throwing things at it.
The room is quite large. Trophies hang on the walls, swords, armor, that sort of thing.
Okay.
It's fairly crowded and everybody is drinking, fighting, the whole smash.
A drunken fight party. Mm-hmm. well. She's kind of she steps in further and looks around briefly, likely knowing her and who she was asking the spirits about finding. She searches out somewhere to find something to drink as she does this.
There's traditional drinking horns pretty much everywhere that someone is happy to fill for you.
Excellent. Can't find drinks without drinks. She's going to ask someone if they've seen someone, and Holly, off the top of her head, can't remember drinks full description, but she's going to describe drinks.
Okay. And they say, yeah, he's around. There's a couple of dice tables, and of course his favorite spot is up as close as he can get to the taps, short of crawling underneath them.
Okay. She will start searching those areas first. Well, she has to find them first, I suppose.
That would be a perception alertness.
All right. Detail-oriented count?
It will be relevant, yes.
Ooh. Dang, I have a 1, but 2 and 4, technically 5.
And if you've got 4, you'll notice most of the taps are set up in one corner. You can actually see frost on like the windowsills and stuff over in that corner, where obviously things are kept chilled. You also notice among the trophies hanging on the walls a very unique looking crown.
Do I recognize this crown?
You do. Because you saw a Fey Queen give it to a to Ruidry in the past, and you've had it described to you as well.
It's the one he's looking for.
Correct.
Oh, and she's like, you gotta be shitting me. She's eyeing up that crown. Contemplating figuring out how to bring it back with her if she manages to make it that far. Just chilling there as a decoration.
Yeah, up on the wall there's other relic weapons hanging up there as well.
She's literally saying that you got to be shitting me out loud as she's staring at that thing. Does anyone try to stop her if she touches it?
It's up about 6 feet, so you'd have to stretch a little bit. There's a lot of shit on these shelves, but
Stretch, shift to Krynos. Maybe shift to Glabro. Way in homage, she's going to be able to. Oh, well, maybe, yeah. On her toes, maybe.
gotcha. Then you can certainly reach. And no one stops you at first. But the room does get pretty quiet.
Noting how quiet it gets, she just kind of like looks around. She just kind of looks over her shoulder as she's touching this. She doesn't try to run off with it. She's literally taking it and she's looking at it.
So everyone is looking at you. And a couple of the guys who've been near Tersus have started to pull out weapons. However, you do notice the one person who's not looking at you because he's busy drinking at the end of the bar.
Drinks.
That would be drinks.
She notices everyone looking at her except for him. And she's like, Drinks, you son of a bitch, you've been here this whole time?
His head will immediately turn around. McKenna! What the fuck are you doing here?
Looking for your ass. And apparently finding...
Oh.
Looking for her. As she's holding this crown in her hand.
I would, I'd put that back. Personally. Just wondering why it got so quiet in here.
She just holds up. Do you know what this is?
No, but it's clearly important to all these Einherjar. You'll look at the other guy's Einherjar, right? That's what the term is.
I know who this belongs to. He's looking for it.
Well, maybe he should come here and get it himself.
I don't know if he can.
The first guy who drew out a sword or a weapon points to a Tertius and says, well, technically it would qualify as his. Of course, when he brought it here 400 years ago, he also said that next time someone took an interest in it, we're supposed to destroy them.
That's awkward.
McKenna just looks at Tertius.
He looks quite puzzled.
So does McKenna.
Alright, this is gonna sound crazy, guys. And Drinks is addressing the guy who just like who pulled his sword out originally and just kind of tried in general. But how about we don't destroy her? Like, we've been drinking buddies for a while, and he'll gesture at the crowd. And she's one of my oldest drinking buddies. So maybe we can all be drinking buddies together and not destroy her based off a misunderstanding.
McKenna's eyes are kind of darting between drinks and Tersus and this other dude that's just spoken.
Tertius looks quite confused.
You there, confused-looking man. Do you want my friend destroyed? Because we might have a couple issues if that's the case.
He says, well, considering that would be my girlfriend, that'd be preferably not.
Okay. So are you okay with her taking it to whoever?
I'm not really quite sure what the situation is.
I saw this crown given to Ruidry, and he's been looking for it for a very long time.
Okay. I can see how he might want such a thing.
And looked at the caverns on the green beyond what's just there physically. I know you've been there, but
Not significantly, no.
those caverns are a lot more than they appear to be.
Well, that would make sense.
Have seen. I'm trying to remember what the name of the castle is directly out of character, but I've seen what was his home on the other side of that.
I see.
And I watched a Fae Queen, like I said, give him this.
Well, that doesn't really answer how the fuck it's supposedly mine or any of that business.
I can't answer that for you. I can only answer what I know.
Maybe you have like identical ancestor syndrome and it runs in the family, and your great 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 insert amount of great granddad's here dropped off here, and then left the message.
He says, well, he can't say that's impossible, but it seems highly unlikely.
I mean, you're sitting in Valhalla, talking to two werewolves surrounded by Vikings. I don't know really how you got here or what you are, honestly, but like that's not. All I'm trying to get at is that's not exactly the unlikeliest thing about this situation. Like, it's kind of up there, I guess, but
How about we try this? Can anyone actually explain what's going on here? Entailing this and him?
Give me a straight intelligence roll.
Oh, great. They want me bot. I'm just kidding.
I'm guessing that's just McKenna.
Yes.
What the fuck? Oh, God damn it. I can't hit the right buttons. Ignore that last roll. 2.
You realize as you are asking this that an ancestor spirit had told you that the thief had carried a leaf-bladed spear.
Oh, shit. She says that out loud as she's thinking, oh, shit. She just kind of looks back at, like, back and forth between Tarsus and the crown awkwardly. Well, you know how I said I would look into some artifacts for you entailing that museum when we were talking about all the Norse artifacts?
Yeah?
Well, I talked to some spirits while I was at the museum.
Okay.
And she's not going to say this loudly for everyone else to hear, but she will lean over and whisper it in his ear, in Tarsus's ear. The thief carries a leaf, here's a staff with a leaf, or a sword with a leaf. So, in a sense, yours.
He looks back and forth between the you and the crown. He puts out one hand, and as he touches it, you can see something kind of change within him. And he looks at you and he goes, ah, shit.
What?
Well, see, the way it works for my kind is when we die, the spirit part of us that actually creates the magic, well, it can come back. It can be born again.
Okay.
And again and again. We don't always remember everything from the previous times. That's kind of where we stand now.
All right.
So I didn't remember why stealing the crown or putting it here. But I did it. Well, I got a pretty good idea now.
All right.
So the situation is fairly simple in that the relics I took were key elements of power for a Norse lord who was the embodiment of darkness, a British king who was the embodiment of destruction, and an Irish king that was the embodiment of war. Because had I kept them, they would have continued, or left them, they would have continued to grow in power, and they would have brought war, destruction, and darkness everywhere through Europe. However, I obviously couldn't destroy them for what they were. I'm no Frodo Baggins. And the other possibility was there may come a time when we needed a king of war, or a king of destruction, or a king of darkness.
Well,
and while I don't remember everything, I remember where I went after this when I just had the dagger. The sword of the king has been recovered already. And the spear of the destruction lord, I don't know. Let's put it that way. But it was big, dangerous, and you don't become a Lord of Britain for centuries by accident.
that's true.
So that could be out there. Someone could have it. I don't know the answer to that. But I do remember thinking that if I was going to hide the crown of the King of War, I'd hide it in Valhalla.
Appropriate.
If I wanted anyone to leave with it, well, valor gets you into Valhalla. But I wanted to make damn sure if they got out with it, it's because they were worthy enough to be qualified to be either wielding the power of the King of War or giving it away.
Makes perfect sense.
It also happened that the King of War was the first one to invite me into a Fey court, which is where I forged my spear in the first place. So that would be where we stand now. We can stay in Valhalla with the crown and the kegs and the fighting. Or if we think that giving the Ardrai the tools he needs to be at full capacity is the right answer, if we really want to arm him fully and unleash the King of War, well, then it looks like we're going to have to get through a couple folks to get it out.
Jinx is going to raise a hand.
There's a third option, but she looks at Drinks.
Alright. Now assume I've been up here in Valhalla drinking for the better part of a year and a half. Who is the Ardra?
Vampire King, prior to his embrace, he ruled over Fae, werewolves, and the kin of both. He has the blood of both more strongly than even some purebred, and was embraced after his council was ransacked.
Yes.
Something I inadvertently brought about because I fled to him. Well, I stole from the Norse first, and then I fled to Ireland, to Valhalla, to the Ardrai, which meant that those pursuing me followed me there.
Okay. So he's a vampire.
Yes.
He is.
Why are we helping a vampire? Like, I'm assuming there's a good reason for it.
Well, he's shamanistic and has bound himself to a spirit.
Okay.
Resides in a cairn.
What kind of spirit? Because that kind of matters.
Chimera.
Huh. Wait, like the start, like their totem.
3 heads. Greek mythology.
Alright.
McKenna just kind of bites her tongue after saying chimera.
Okay, so we have a guy in totem vouching for him, basically, is what I'm hearing. Like, he checks out, he's okay for a vampire.
Chimera hasn't been corrupted. I've seen the totem myself.
Okay.
Checked it myself.
Alright. Well,
Myself.
I don't know what's going on down there. I don't know what's necessary for him to have the crown right now.
Well, the third option is he can come get it himself.
Did you tell him you
Yeah,
were
but that doesn't still address the first problem we have.
What is that?
Technically, they were told to destroy the first people who asked for it, not the first people who took it.
Well, technically, we
So
haven't asked for it.
if we leave, we know where it is, meaning it's no longer hidden.
Right. Technically, we haven't asked for it.
That's also true.
McKenna
That's
touched
a fair
it,
point.
and I
I simply
asked,
touched it because I knew what it was.
yeah. And I asked everyone to calm down after she touched it, but nobody has asked for it yet. That being said, these are hardcore Vikings, so I doubt they'll take petty thievery very well.
Petty thievery isn't exactly in my nature.
No, but well, there's a basically we can buy ourselves time enough to get outside, but they're probably not going to let us get far once we're that far.
Yeah.
Because technically, you're right, we haven't asked for it. Meaning they're bound by a commandment to not, or to pursue anyone who asks for it. However, at a certain point, the intent may run past the wording. So, if we
Give
can,
me a hot second.
if we can make good time, possible we get a head start and we don't have to fight all of them. However, it means instead of carefully choosing a path, we're moving headlong and hoping we don't run into anything.
Right. This is gonna sound weird. Drinks has been up here for quite a while. Could I roll Intelligence Umbra Lord to kind of figure out a path that would take us like through the path of least resistance?
Sure.
Sick. All my 4 dice. What is my difficulty?
So let's go as standard.
Okay. I got a singular success.
Oh, well, you could narrow it down at least.
Drinks will nod and say, well, I mean, I kind of know the area decently well. I might be able to lead us somewhere where we won't face as many dudes. I got a rough idea, at least.
Give me a second. I got a poop pants.
Mark.
Okay, I missed a little bit before I came back and said something because I had to get out.
Drinks just kind of he rolled to try and find the easiest or the path of least resistance out.
Okay.
And I got a success. I have a very rough idea what that is.
Okay. So, you wind up opting to put this crown back.
Well, Tersus's pitch was the instructions and verbal contract they were given was anyone who asks for it. No one's asked for it,
Right.
so if you leave with it without asking,
Just take it, right?
now at a certain point, that's going to get overran. You know, they're gonna figure it out.
Right. So how many people actually sat and listened to them discussing this?
Well, they've been kind of sitting there. They haven't responded at this point in any way, shape, or form. Roll me a... Oh, fuck, you guys don't have awareness.
We have primal urge.
Perception, primal urge.
Okay.
Is it standard?
Yes.
Ooh, I got 5.
2.
So doubt, no, anyway. 5.
All right. Well, perhaps because of McKenna's familiarity with it, she would notice that, one, these are spirits. They're not responding to the words, but seem to be responding to some of Tertius's movements and gestures a bit more.
Okay.
And 2, when he reiterated that original instruction of anyone who asked for the crown, there was another flavor of magic to that. You would guess, based on the chills, that he probably used some of his fey magic.
Right. I might be doing something really stupid, but I'm going to, while I'm still holding it, take a step away from where I am and see how they react.
They're watching you, but
Just one.
at this point, make no additional moves.
Okay. Let's see. Part of her wants to say fuck it and just take it, but the Phyllodox part is like, nope. Phyllodox is noping the fact that she's been actively trying to find it because of this vision she had, is saying take it. But I mean, in all technicality, they said it was yours. She looks at Tersus. So is it really taking it? Is it really? Do you really need to ask for something that's yours?
Well, I guess that would depend how you look at it. It's mine, but I also told them to keep it for me. So if they fail to do that, is that on us? Specifically, I asked them to keep it and kill the first person to ask for it.
Man, why couldn't your past self be more specific with his instructions?
I mean, in all fairness, it is his, like I said. They even said it. Now, if I took it, I could see it being an issue. But because it's his, he doesn't need to ask.
I mean, did this Arterite guy tell you to get it for him, or to just find out where it was and tell him?
He didn't give me any instructions whatsoever.
So I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of feeling like a problem for him to deal with. But I don't know. I don't know the guy. I don't know how he'll react to that.
Is there any chance either of you guys took the common sense merit?
No.
I haven't looked at this sheet in like over a year, so let me double check. I'm gonna say probably not. Yeah, not. Ooh, I forgot to roll for something. I forgot I had nightmares on here.
Oh no!
No, you probably don't here.
Oh, my god.
Yeah.
Okay. I do have the curiosity flaw, though.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Roll me a perception subterfuge.
Oh dear.
For just him or both of us?
Both you can.
Hey, rolling a straight perception.
I actually have some confusion, just not much of it. Oh
Hey,
wow! I actually have a 7 dice pool for this, so I lied.
Hey, 2 successes.
Standard?
Yes.
3.
Both of you would realize that Tertius's directive doesn't say anything about killing anyone after the first person to ask for it. Specifically said, kill the next person that asked for it. Doesn't say anything about any people after that.
Oh my.
But see, the problem there is we still haven't technically asked for it. So if he comes up and asks for it, then he'll be the first one. He'll be the next person to ask for it, and thus they will attempt to murder.
Oh. I think I have persuasion. Let's see. Oh, I sure do. Can I use persuasion to try to convince one of these other people to ask me for it? It didn't specify who they had to ask for it.
It's
Just
true.
had to be asked for it. Let's see. Charisma subterfuge, if 6. So I think that's just 6. Flat out 6 dice. Sure is. Four successes.
4 successes.
Damn.
To do what exactly?
I am going to try to persuade one of these other spirits that obviously aren't us to ask for it. Did you want this back? Like, try to deceive them into saying, can I have it back? Or can I have it?
And that was
like that nature.
You rolled subterfuge for that?
Yep.
Okay.
It's charisma subterfuge. That was the roll for persuasion. The gift.
Yep, and well, you kind of have the idea, and you realize it's not going to be quite that simple.
Right.
You get the realization that you kind of walk over by one of the torches, and you're turning it around, and inside you kind of point and you say, "What's this? This marking on here? That did you guys damage it?" And a couple of them come over to kind of like they're trying to see what you're talking about. And they're crowding and they're looking and trying to see. Then one of them holds out a hand and he says, "Let me take a look. Can I have that?" And as he does, the rest of them kind of turn and look at him, and then kind of look at you, and then look at Tersus. And he kind of shrugs and he says, "Sounds to me, boys, like he asked for the crown." And they lay into him, and it takes next to no time because these are ancient.
And McKenna is going to get away from these people taking this guy out now.
Dang.
So it's not long before his ass is toast. Yeah. The boss then looks at him and says, "Well, directions have been completed."
Now we can just.
He says, "So," holds out his hand to Tertius and he says, "Pleasure doing business."
Wait, who said that?
The first guy who had approached you says that to Tertius. He hands a piece of parchment over to Tertius as well, and he says, "And here's the map you left with me."
Huh.
This fucking guy right here. A cool guy.
Another surprise for you.
I'm gonna give that guy a gnosis. He's very helpful, and I appreciate him. I'm gonna shape it into the form of a drinking horn, filled with mead, and him the gnosis.
So what's the map of?
He looks and he says, "Well, I'm going to assume this is another bad decision I don't entirely remember. Remember the whole King of Shadows and Darkness thing? I remember taking his knives. I don't remember where I left them. But this is a map to get to a place you can only usually find by getting lost."
The Abyss?
Yep.
Oh, fuck.
That being said, I don't know if we really want to unleash a Norse Prince of Darkness
True.
and an Irish King of War at the same time. That doesn't seem like a prudent decision.
Agreed.
If you guys want to go pick up some relic daggers that were stolen from a Norse prince, we can do that, but
What would happen if someone else found him?
well, apparently, somewhere or other, and I don't know if it was my enchantments or if it's just the nature of the abyss, and I somehow managed to find the one freak way to do it. But they're in a cave in the abyss you can only find if you know where you're going, in a place you can only find if you don't know where you're going. So You need this map to find that room, or you have to have been there before.
Into the room directly or to the abyss?
To the room.
Okay. Well.
Which tells me I used to be a better mage than I am now. So I don't know how in the fuck I would pull that one off.
It's magic. We don't have to explain shit.
Maybe that's for the best, though. In all fairness, there's some pretty nasty shit that lives and frequents the abyss. If I understand correctly. She just kind of looks at drinks. Isn't there a hive, or not a hive, a hive in there? Ask the theurge about Umbrella.
Shit, I'm sorry, I completely zoned out for a second.
She was like, she was like, there's a lot of nasty things that live in the abyss. Isn't there a hive in there too?
I'll roll my intelligence Umbrella if I can, see if that's true or not. Watch, I end up botching. It's just like, yeah, no, actually, this gets a really bad rap. It's fun, happy time filled with rainbows and shit. What would the difficulty be?
Oh boy. I just roll.
I haven't rolled yet.
Standard.
I don't know what the difficulty would be. I'd assume it'd be decently high.
But I
don't know. It's the abyss.
All right. But we're also talking about just worm stuff too.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know what the difficulty is.
Kevin.
I don't want to send it till I know what the difficulty is, so I don't mess everything up.
Seven. I just rolled 7.
Okay. Hey, I got a singular success.
Yeah, you've heard the same rumors.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've never gone and looked for myself.
Nor have I. It's kind of a place I have no desire to visit.
It seems just a little bit above my pay grade. Like a few ranks higher than me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all about dying for the glory of Gaia and everything, but there's a difference between being valorous and stupid.
Yeah. Well. Do you want to proceed into hanging out here? I suspect we have a long journey. Please tell me you're coming back with us drinks.
He'll look back at the hall, say, they really didn't have a whole lot of variation. Liquor's liquor, but I like to go, I like to switch it up every now and then. So yeah, that's the plan.
What do you miss the most?
What was that? I couldn't hear that one.
What do you miss the most?
He'll just kind of He'll think for a second. They didn't have any scotch.
Scotch, huh?
Yeah.
All right. I'll remember that.
One of the Norsemen starts to chuckle. Who is behind the bar, and he comes around the bar to shake your hand, and he says, "Well, that's because you come to Valhalla, my friend. You want to hang out with Celts next time, ask the Morrigan to take you. Although I suspect their afterlife is not quite so pleasant."
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give a hard pass to that one, but I appreciate all the drinks.
Drinks are good.
I'm gonna give the bartender a gnosis too for being a good bartender and a cool guy.
He reaches behind the bar and pulls out a fairly large pack, like old rustic backpack, and sets it down in front of you.
Drinks will look at him and then look at the backpack. It's like, can I open it? Like, are you guys gonna freak out on me?
He gestures and he says, "Well, the bag was left here, but the belongings inside are yours."
He will open it up.
There's a significant amount of wealth inside.
That's where all my money from doing my feng shui business went.
You've also spent the last year gambling with a bunch of reavers. It wasn't just for booze, contrary to popular belief. We just don't put the valuable stuff out on the tables, and makes cleaning up after fights a fucking mess.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's real. Well, I appreciate your patronage. May your fights be many and your drinks always be refreshing.
Oh, that's the idea.
Just gonna grab the backpack and close it up again and slip it on, I guess. You know what the best part about this is, McKenna?
What?
I'm pretty sure at this point I'm considered legally dead, so the IRS isn't going to be on my ass, which means all of this is mine.
Touche. You. So what, you've just been drinking and gambling?
Yeah, apparently I'm really good at gambling while I'm drunk off my ass.
Hey, you should be grateful that the man here is honest. He could have kept your winnings.
You're not wrong.
The man shakes his head and he says, "No, that doesn't end well. We get a pretty good beating for that." And well, let's just say I don't tangle with Odin that much.
Ah,
That seems like a very smart decision.
indeed.
Well, I like his people to continue to bring me the cauldron for my brewing. And, well, Thor gets rather angry quickly. And Tyr, well, he gets mad if you don't follow the rules. You know, he thinks he's a god of justice and glory. Then you point out that he can't really offer a balanced opinion because he's got one hand. He gets more upset. It's just not worth it.
All right.
That's fair. Both fair reasoning. You will turn to McKenna. Remind me the next time we run into any dead of Fenris to brag to them that I've been to Valhalla and they probably haven't. It'll make them so mad.
I'm sure Windburn will just be ecstatic. Let's see. Yeah. I have to do some. Yeah, never mind.
All right. Well. Are we ready to shove off?
Well, I'm ready. Are you ready, Tersus?
Yeah, it says, well, I got a map to a place I don't really feel like going anytime soon. I got my ass threatened by a Norse guy who I asked to threaten me 400 years ago if I came back, and I didn't remember. I'd say it's been an eventful day. I don't need to go do anything else stupid today. I don't know where I'm going back to. My old cairn, my sanctum, all of it was dumped into the river by whatever caused the earthquakes.
Wait, there are earthquakes
anything
going
even
on?
left to go back to?
I mean, the city's still there.
Well, yes, the city is still there. But
Is the
your
storm
home,
cruise?
is there anything left of your legit home?
Well, funny you mentioned this. Funny you mentioned the storm crow because we're adding a basement and an upper floor. I don't know if we've finalized naming on it entirely yet, but McKenna and I are now part owners.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, I guess technically I have a brewery and a bar. I just don't have a wellspring, gate to the legendary realm, or a Fey pool anymore.
I mean, you had the.
Sure, what can
Why can't you make another one?
Well, I mean, most of them were linked to the cairn, so the cairn being obliterated is kind of a hindrance.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem.
That's quite a problem. Not sure what your plans are in dealing with it, but I can.
I don't know. Let's go back and see what happens when we decide to unleash the how do you say, the firepower of the fully armed and operational War King.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh,
Apparently Minneapolis is going to shit anyway, so...
Well, I mean, I guess if they kill us, at least we know we got some drinking buddies.
Hell yeah.
yeah. It's true.
But if they're not going to stop us, I guess we can take the leisurely route. It's a little long, but I must say, Mr. Drinks, I'm interested in writing down the story of how in the hell you wandered your way here.
I would tell you if I could remember, but I've drank a lot. Like, a lot.
Well, then as we walk, perhaps you'll share a drink and see if it jogs your memory.
We'll see how it goes, I
Drink some
guess.
spirits if you didn't drink a lot.
So, and I'm assuming you guys then will just head out.
Yes.
Right, as Drinks has already helped to plot a course, and Terse has already knew a route, and you're under no duress, it's a relatively uneventful trip back out.
That's good.
Right?
So you get out of Valhalla, stepping sideways back in Minneapolis. A city that, well, you notice stepping back that it's a little more difficult to do right now. And when you get back, you would realize that that's probably because there are a large number of relief forces that are very high tech.
I do have natural channel.
Oh, this
It was just a smidge easier, but
Yep.
still.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're still able to. Everyone's able to. It's just you notice you're like, oh, this seems harder than it was last time.
right.
All right. Well, is there anything else you guys want to do yet to even see here? Otherwise, we can kind of roll some of this wrap up into the epilogue.
Okay.
Does that work for you guys?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, then, for all of our players, thank you for joining us. Thank you for playing. For our watchers, thank you for watching. And for those who don't know, Minneapolis by Night will be closing actually in the next week. And we will be posting an epilogue that wraps up the city, kind of leaves it in what its state is as we step away. And we will be launching a New Orleans set World of Darkness game, with many of our players joining us in the City of Mysteries. So we hope that you'll all join us there as well to see what chaos ensues. Other than that, this has been a Minneapolis by Night, technically werewolf scene, the reclamation of drinks with spirits, and the crown of the Ardrai. Thank you all, and we look forward to seeing you again.